Against? Carried. Okay, so the last item 14. Yep, Jimmy moves it. Anyone want a second? Mel. We also added the extra resolution there. No debate. Yanni.
I welcome this submission. I think possibly it just needs a few more tangible examples. If you take what's happened in Christchurch, where central government can have a huge role to play, as can local government. But if we look at the Linwood area, for example, what we've seen is through the government crown agencies such as Kiwibank and Post Shop, they reduce services. We see ECAN cut bus routes to the poorest parts of our city, and we see the impact of big pharmacies on local pharmacies and local business. And so I think what's really important is that central government understand that they have huge influence over a number of these things, but where you see communities, some of the poorest urban communities in New Zealand, getting government services cut, withdrawn, through whatever funding mechanism, through NZTA or PTOM or through Crown enterprises, this has a devastating impact on social cohesion. It gives people a loss of hope and of dignity, the fact that these services get withdrawn. So I think, we need to be really strong as a council in recognising that some communities do require greater levels of investment to build social cohesion, but they also deserve to be treated equally as with other communities in terms of service provision. So, if you just take the loss of banks, for local banks where people could walk and then now be required to drive to Ferrymead, although I think the Ferrymead Kiwibank's closing soon too. So, it's just this combination of these small local things that are important that can really have a negative impact on a community. So I support the submission. I think it's really important that we support social cohesion in our city, and I think it's really important that the government acknowledge that they do have a very clear role to work in that regard, and that they need to be much more considerate because, and again, just to reiterate, the loss of people's basic need of public transport in a community that relies on it so that some of the wealthier parts of town can have increased levels of service is really,
hang on.
Damning.
That's incorrect.
Well, Westmoreland got their bus route.
Incorrect.
And Keshmere lost half of it.
Thanks, Yanni, for your debate.
So anyway, so I support this, but I do wonder if maybe the Deputy Mayor and Mayor could consider adding some tangible examples to where the withdrawal of government services or investment highlights the disparities that can exist in a community.
Sarah?
Thanks. And I think that delegating this to the Mayor and Deputy Mayor is really important because we did talk briefly this morning about the role of local government in this space. And we know that with the future of local government and the reforms that are happening with Three Waters and other spaces, the four well-beings are going to be increasingly what local government do. And so having input into the space is really, really important. Thanks.
Right, all those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Right, we'll close the meeting with a karakia from Councillor Templeton.
Tukuna te karakia. Kia whakairia te tapu, kia wātea ai te ara. Kia turu ki whakataha ai, kia turu ki whakataha ai. Homi e, hui e, tāki e.
Thank you.